the Wine Country Camera Filter Kit. Now this is for neutral density filters, and the one I have comes with a CPL, a circular polarizer as well. And I wanted to show you because I previously have been using a Format High-Tech filter system, and actually before that I used a Lee filter system. And I want to talk about the differences and show you the Wine Country Camera Kit before I do a written review on the product. I wanted to do a video showing the product itself because I think along with photos of the product and text about the product, I think the video is a nice addition to the whole roundup on it. Because I think in order to really truly understand the quality of the Wine Country Camera Kit, you really need to see it firsthand. So, first, I originally had a Lee filter system, and it was very similar to this, very similar to the Format High-Tech one. The biggest difference was really the Lee one, the Lee kit, the foundation kit, which is extremely popular, is plastic. It is made of plastic. So when I found out about the Format High-Tech one, which is made of aluminum, I switched to that. And I did that because it can take more of a beating than a plastic one. Now, whenever I'm doing neutral long exposures with neutral density filters, I'm usually in places where if I drop it, which it happens, we're all human, it could drop on something that is hard, like a rock. And at that point, if it's plastic, it is going to break. If it's aluminum or if it's something else, another type of metal, it'll take more of a beating from just normal wear and tear and potentially drops. So this kit, this one from Format High-Tech, is the same setup as what I had with the Lee system, and it's very limiting, and I'll tell you why. Normally, it comes with 3 slots, but when you put on the circular polarizer ring, which is here, it takes up 1 slot. So now you have 2 neutral densities behind the filter, the polarizer, and then you've got the polarizer in front. You can only have 2 neutral densities, and then you can have a polarizer in addition to that. And the polarizers, they're quite large in front of there. I do have in here, see if I can find out where it went. It's in here somewhere. I do have a CPL in here somewhere in my filter kit, and I can show you how big it is. And I'm not too concerned about the size of the CPL filter, but I think it's important to know. I'm in the process of reorganizing this, so I need to figure out where I'm putting everything. Oh, maybe I have it in here. This is actually something that came with, I put it in here. This actually came with the Wine Country Camera Kit. This is where the filters are meant to be held, but I have my Mindshift filter hive, which actually holds it all. Everything I have, including the adapter rings, in one spot, so I'm actually going to be utilizing that. So, here's the Format High-Tech Firecrest polarizer. This is a very nice polarizer, but it's actually not as good as the Wine Country Camera one, and you'll see. But anyway, so it's very thin, which is nice. Not necessarily the best thing for it to be really thin, but it's a nice thing that it is thin, at least in this case. And you have to screw it in front. Now the problem with that, and this happened again with the Lee filter system, is threading that in there and with a CPL is not an easy task. Sometimes it slips. If you happen to turn the wrong way, you can actually unscrew completely. It's not ideal. And with the Format High-Tech, you got these giant screws in front. What happens if you happen to scratch? Right? Now you just destroyed a filter that's on your camera. So, not ideal, right, in this case. It is a nice system. Basically, you would put on the ring, you screw the ring onto your lens, and then you would slip it over the back. Let's unscrew that so it's actually in there. And it's in, and then you would tighten the screw, and it's on there, right? And it's on there, it holds pretty well. The problem with this is a few things. One, you can only use it on a lens that's so wide, because otherwise you start getting vignetting. I've started getting vignetting with the filters around 24 millimeters is where my limit is, usually with the Format High-Tech. With the Lee, it was around the same. And there's also the chance of light leaks, because this is actually sitting pretty far from your lens, and then you have neutral density filters, which require the thicker the neutral density filter, with this kind of kit, it requires a gasket. And let me show you what I mean by that. This is a 16-stop filter from Leaf Filters. This one actually has a hairline crack in it, so right now it's just used for demonstration purposes. I have a replacement. But in the back, it has a gasket. You can see if I hold it like that, probably a little bit better, you can see a little foam gasket. And that is meant to basically seal the back. As you slide it in, the foam is against the filter kit, the holder, and sealing, light sealing that. And it's foam, right? So it can move, it can unpeel, and it's potentially not really light proof. And then if you have another filter in front of it, so you can have two filters, depending on the density of that filter, you also need a gasket. So you could have two gaskets sort of up against each other. And then you've got the CPL in front of it. So that's the way typical kits work up until now. I want to show you the Wine Country camera kit now. Before I do, I guess, one more thing. This is the adapter ring that will go on a lens for and actually let me find the appropriate size. This is a 58. So here's the 58 millimeter from Format High Tech. And sorry for the loud noise. Here's a 58 millimeter for the Wine Country camera kit. Now the first thing you'll notice is how much bigger this is. And the reason is it, first of all, it's a much larger system, even though it's still kind of compact, as you'll see. It has something called filter vaults, and I'll show you what those are. But also, by having it much wider, it means that you'll have less chances for vignetting, which is a beautiful thing. So now I can go, I think the limit is 17 millimeters before you start seeing a vignette. That's a pretty big jump from about 24 millimeters. So I'm going to throw this on my 35 millimeter lens. Now I'm just doing a 35 millimeter because that's what I have on my camera at the moment. Okay, so that's on there. Now I want to show you, in this beautiful case, you'll see there's this wine logo. This is the Wine Country camera logo, and this comes in handy for multiple reasons, and as I'll show you. We open it up, and again, it's a beautiful case inside. It protects the filter. In here, you're going to see, this is the front, and this is the right side up right here. And before I mount it to the camera, I want to show you what everything is. I've got these beautiful handles, which hold for basically holding the filter system while it's on your camera or removing it. And the reason why it's wood is because wood doesn't really get cold or hot. So while the rest of it is metal, it gets really cold. When this came in, I have another video where I actually opened this out of the box. When I took it out of the box, it was freezing on the metal because it was 20 degrees here in New Jersey, and the wood was not cold. So they're not just here for decoration, they're actually here for a purpose. Then this dial is to actually attach it to the camera, as you'll see in a little bit. I've got a dial down here, a wood dial right here, which and by the way, everything is very textured and a little bulky, and that's the only word I can think of using, but it's on purpose. It's meant so that you could do that with gloves. So I can do this with gloves, I can hold it with gloves, I can do this with gloves. Everything's very easy. So this dial actually turns the polarizer. Let's see if you'll be able to see. I'm going to turn it backwards. And hopefully in the video you'll be able to see that actually working. Let me actually move it closer to the lens too. So at this point right now, I'm in front of my computer screen. My computer screen is black. That does not happen with any other polarizer that I've ever used. That's how strong this polarizer is. Now, you can also remove this. There's these two levers in the back that you would undo, and then you would just peel up the filter out of the case, like that, and that's it. But I'm going to put it back in, make sure it's locked in there. It's good, not going anywhere. Okay, now, you might be wondering what these buttons are for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the camera, put it there, and lock it in place. It's not going anywhere now. Now what's really nice is there's a few ways to know if the thing is right side up. One, says Wine Country camera at the bottom. Your polarizer turning is right here. And then you also have little wine icons, right? You see these two red buttons, and then you see two red decorated, just decoration. They're not really buttons. that have the wine logos. That's how you know what's right side up. When the wine is up, you know you're right side up. When the wine is down, you have it the wrong way. Okay, so let's get a filter out. I'm going to show you the filter hive, and I'm going to start with the 16 stop. So this is a filter hive. Basically, let me take the filter out so you can see exactly what it does. Okay, so here's the filter hive as is. And look at this. I can squeeze and it will not bend. This is made, from what I understand, this is made out of the same material that a Glock pistol is made out of. This thing is strong. It won't bend. It won't break. It'll take a lot of abuse. It's very textured, so you can grab this with a glove. It's got this nice little tab, so you can pull it right out, whether you have bare hands or a glove. And there's this beautiful coin, which again is very textured. It's really, I don't know what material it is. It kind of looks like it's brass, like it might be the same or whatever pennies, you know. It kind of feels like that. So basically what happens is you have these hives. You have these filter vaults, and you put the filter in the little groove at the bottom. You put it in, and then you just turn the coin so that the wine. So the filter vault's doing what its job. That's great. Like I said, we're human, we drop stuff. I rarely drop stuff, and I just did it on video. So the wine, you'll see right here, is actually right side up, and it's on both sides, so you know. And when the wine is pouring upside down, you know that's when you can take the filter out. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this right there, and it just sits perfectly. Now, best practices for long exposures with neutral densities is always put the thickest, the most dense, so a 16 stop, towards the back. That is best practices. With the wine country camera, you may not need to do that because there's no chance of flight leaks anymore. But I'm still going to do that because I know that's best practices, and I know that always worked for me. Okay, so next you have a vault for a graduated filter. So this is a soft grad, and I would just slide it in. And I have to remind you, I have a CPL in the back, right? So the circular polarizer I can turn with the dial. And then I have 3 other slots, so I can do 3 filters in front of the CPL. So I just dropped in the graduated filter, and now I have these 2 buttons. The top button is to, or the bottom button I should say, is for moving up and down the graduated filter. It kind of just holds it there. Now you can pull it out without using the button, but the buttons will, the little lock piece that's beneath the button can wear out, so it is and it is replaceable, but it is recommended to actually push the buttons for when you raise and lower. The bottom button is for the second slot, okay, and then the top button is for the most outer slot. Or I should say, the bottom button is for the inner slot, the middle one, and the top button is for the outer one. So now if I go and push that down, it's in there. I've got a nice graduated filter. I can go ahead and if I want to switch, let's take that out. And I can put a different filter in front. And again, it stops. So now I'm going to go ahead and push the button and get it in there lower. And now it's in there. And then I can do the same with the outer one. Now again, here it is. It stopped. I push the button. And now I can lower the graduated filter. So I have 3 filters and a polarizer here that has no light leaks. And that's because of the way this is designed, how close it is to the lens, and these filter vaults are actually doing the light blocking that normally a gasket would do. So I don't have to worry about anything in front of the lens. Now the only light leak concerns I have to worry about is anything behind the lens. So potentially the mount, potentially the viewfinder, right? Anything like that. If you're using a mirrorless, you don't have to worry about the viewfinder. So that's a really nice thing. And look how easy this is. And then I can go ahead, and if I want to, I could twist, unlock a little bit and twist, and then relock it again. Now my graduated filter is that way, right? So I can completely adjust everything. But it is worth noting that, and they actually give a little, what do they call it? The Wine Country Camera Guide to Avoiding Gear Hangover. The first bullet point on this, let me show this. The first bullet point, don't turn the holder upside down with an ND vault installed. The vault could fall out. And let me show you what that means. So right now, this is kind of locked in there. It can fall out with enough of a bang, but you hit the button and it goes up, right? It does not go down. This one, again, push the button, comes right out. But look at this next one. This one just sits in there. So if you turn this upside down, it will just come right out, right? So if I keep going, the filter will just fall out. So they warn you ahead of time. And it's designed like that on purpose, so you can quickly just remove it if you need to. It's designed for speed in that case. You know, it's designed to just quickly pull out a filter. So that's the system. It's very basic, but it's so intricately designed. It's beautiful, right? It's a pretty system. It's textured, and very, very tactile. That's the word I'll use. It's very tactile. Everything you need, you can do, whether you have a glove on your hand, and I use the Aquatech gloves that you can take your finger out of, but sometimes it's too cold to even do that. So it's very tactile with gloves or without. The CPL can be removed if you need. And again, it's just a beautiful CPL filter in here too. And then this is a CPL filter made by Wine Country Camera. It is not made by somebody else. It's actually made by them. And the last thing I'm going to say in this video is that they were made aware of some filters from some companies that are not actually using the right specifications of thicknesses. And what happens is the filters may not fit in the vault. So what they're doing is Wine Country Camera is going above and beyond what they actually need to, because it's not their fault. It's actually the fault of the manufacturers of filter systems for making different size, thickness, density, the actual depth of the filters being thicker than they should. They don't fit in. So they're actually redesigning it a little bit so that it has a little bit of flex to it. And that means that your filters will fit no matter what. And they're actually replacing your vaults for free. At least at the time I'm recording this video, they're replacing your vaults for free, even though it's not their fault. Even though it's the fault of specific manufacturers, filter manufacturers. So they actually have a service advisory also in the box right now saying to contact them, and they're going to be replacing it at no additional cost. So that is kudos to them. So the one thing I want to tell you is the craftsmanship on this is it's incomparable. The craftsmanship is amazing. The materials they're using are amazing. They're using real wood. They're using I believe they're using Teflon in it. They're using whatever a Glock pistol is made out of. They're using that type of metal. It's almost unbreakable, and everything is replaceable. So, like I said, you can unscrew things, replace. If for whatever reason this red little switch to take out the polarizer breaks, you can just replace it. If the gears here to turn the polarizer break, you can replace it. The little gold screw to get it on the camera. The buttons, all replaceable. The wood, everything is replaceable. It's a beautiful thing. I'm loving this, and I can't wait to put it to good use. And I'm excited to write up my thoughts in an actual review article. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this video and have fun with your long exposure photography.